Hello guys, and welcome back to another one of our videos where we show off how wonderful our products are. And today we are showing off a altitude simulation system, and also a vacuum pump, vacuum controller, a vacuum chamber. This whole system comes on lockable swivel casters. Uh, this system will allow you to simulate any altitude from 0 to 250,000 feet, including run the ASTM D6653 protocol. And that protocol, essentially what it does, it has a set point for ramp up, where you ramp up from 0 to, up to 19,000 feet. You hold it there for about an hour, and then you ramp down from 19,000 feet to 0. And what it's supposed to do, it's supposed to check and simulate the environment that your packages or your samples or your specimen will be subjected to while being transported by a feeder aircraft. So let's go ahead and get started. So let's talk about the system. I already talked about the vacuum pump right there. It's a rotary vane vacuum pump, the vacuum controller, and the vacuum chamber. And then also, like I said, comes on lockable swivel casters. All right, and then on top of the lid, we have the vacuum gauge right here. We have a manual vacuum relief valve where you can manually release the vacuum. And then here is the venting valve. And then behind this gauge, we have the vacuum valve, and all of that is connected to the vacuum pump. So let's, again, our standard chamber, you guys can kind of see from this side, and let me show you from here. It's essentially a front-loading door with hinges, and those hinges are adjustable to make sure that you have a good seal around the edges. You have a door handle, and then you open it basically by disengaging these clamps, and then you can see we have our O-ring in the door, and that's how you open and of course load your specimen, test samples. And then finally, let's talk about the controller a little bit. So the controller is kind of down here on the lower shelf. And let me talk about this. So you guys have seen our standard controller, but like I said, this controller will allow you to run and perform the ASTM D6653 testing protocol. And let me show you how. So basically what we have is it shows the chamber vacuum, it shows the set point, which here is 371,000 micron, which is 371 torr. Now this set point at about 371 simulates the altitude of about 19,000 feet in altitude. And then the dwell time, currently 0. The set point is 3,600 seconds, which is the dwell time that you would need to essentially run this protocol. And then let's go ahead and move over to settings. So F3 brings you into settings. And so you say set target vacuum in millitorr, 371, I'm sorry, it's actually 20,000 feet altitude, not 19 that I said earlier. So I stand corrected here. So that's the target altitude. So you can, decrease or increase your target altitude by increasing the set point. And this can go, like I said, all the way down to about 250,000 feet. And then F3 again brings us to the dwell time. And that dwell time is in 3,600 seconds, which is 1 hour that you will need to hold the specimen under vacuum to perform your test. And then this is the maximum evacuation time, and that's also in seconds, 11,000 seconds. What is that? About 3 hours, which allows you to keep the pump running for about 3 hours before it times out. And you can increase, of course, that to quite a bit. I believe you can go all the way to about 60,000, 64,000 seconds. In any case, let's move on. Now, here is where you set the maximum ascent rate. So when you're ramping up your vacuum, in your altitudes, you want to go to about 25 feet per second, which is about 1,000 feet every 40 seconds. And the ASTM D6653 calls for a increasing rate of about 1,000 feet for every 32 seconds to 60 seconds. So so at 40 seconds per 1,000 feet puts us well within it. And then this here will engage it, so you can disengage it, and then you don't have to ascend at a certain rate. But if you engage it, then you do ascend at a certain rate, and you can increase it and increase it and decrease it. Here it is. So you increase it and decrease it, and let's bring it down to 25 seconds. So that's as you go from 0 to your target altitude, this is the rate that it increases. We have the same thing from your target altitude as you're venting your chamber and going from, let's say, 20,000 feet down to 0. You can do it about 25 feet per second. And same thing, you can engage it, disengage it, and then increase it and decrease it. And that's essentially the same thing, just going backwards from 20,000 feet down or whatever your set point is. Because I remember that the ASTM 6653 test protocol allows you to go from, I think it's 14,000 feet, 16,000 feet, and 19,000 feet. And that is something that you will have to internally decide and justify, because this is something up to you to know what the transport environment is of your specimen. And then moving on, this is the manual mode where you can turn on the vacuum pump, the vacuum valve, and the venting valve. So if you hear a click, there you go. Let me show you. So venting valve is here. You click it, turn it on. Vacuum valve is right here. And then vacuum pump F2, turn it on and off. So that is pretty much it for this controller. As you can see, it's fairly in depth, and it can run and control this whole vacuum system quite in depth and quite accurately. So F3 will bring you again to your run mode, and just we don't have anything engaged, and of course we're not going to hold it, but let me just show you what I mean. So when you let's just go ahead and get to about 370. So I'm going to hit run, and it says test in progress. The pump starts running, and you can see how your altitude is going to slowly decrease. And I think I have engaged the ascent rate, so it's going actually slower. Here we go. If I disengage it, it's going to actually go much faster, because I just disengaged the ascent rate in feet per second. So it's actually going to go much faster. It's going to go as fast as it can go with this vacuum pump. So that's what it is. If you engage it, then it's going to go, of course, slower, and then to get from ambient pressure to about 371 or 20,000 feet, it's going to take about 20 minutes, and we're not going to sit here for 20 minutes to do it. It's just going to show you guys how this goes, and kind of just give you an overall view on how this runs. So it gets to 20,000 feet quite fast. That's if you go as fast as you can. We're almost at the C435. When we get to about 371, you will notice that the vacuum valve is going to close, and it's going to start this timer here. So, oh, sorry. Hang on with me here, and I will show you. So here we go. Almost there. Here we go. And now the timer starts, and it's going to hold the vacuum. 365, 371. There's always some wiggle room here. It's within plus or minus 5% accuracy, but it's going to hold it within that range, and it's going to hold it for the next 1 hour. So if you let it be, it's going to run this test, and the moment it gets to 3,600 seconds, it's just going to go ahead and vent and pretty much be done with the cycle. Or you can cancel it early by clicking, or just stop the cycle by clicking F1. There we go. And it's going to vent the chamber and bring it back to ambient. that is pretty much it. So there you guys go. And it's going to vent it and bring it back. So the venting is adjusted and it's a little bit slowed down in order to give you better control as you're venting at a certain venting rate. And let me show you what I mean by that. And you can of course adjust this valve to improve or increase your venting, but at this point we have it set this way because we are specifically set up to run the ASTM like I said, 6653 or ASTM D6653 protocol. So that is pretty much it. But then, like I said, you can also have this one, which is the manual venting valve. And you can kind of see here too. And kind of close it. So, all right. So this is pretty much it. This is the system. And if you guys are looking to do some altitude simulation, if you're looking to run the aforementioned ASTM D6653 protocol, please give us a call. And also, you guys can request a quote if you guys need to customize it. You've seen in other videos that we can customize this chamber to anything that you guys need. And of course, make sure you guys like and subscribe, and we will see you guys next time. Thank you very much for watching. You guys have a good day. Bye-bye.